Barrel, and short. Players era 2025 from Vegas. And off we go. Rutgers coming in 4-1, a tough loss last time out to Central Connecticut State. Vols coming in a perfect 5-0.
And as you know, as a player, when you are coming off a tough loss like Central Connecticut and your coach does a press conference like he did after that game, you understand the level of intensity in practice. And so we'll see in these opening minutes if Rutgers can translate that.
Again, this is the end they've had issues with, and not a good start. Akpara comes over and erases it. That guy can rise. Felix Akpara at 6'11" inside. Here is Gillespie. Mentioned the transfer from Maryland. Skips it over. Abram.
And again, the Volunteers top in assists, sharing is carrying. And I think a lot of that has to do with Gillespie being at the helm right there. That shot didn't go, but Ament passed up an early three to get an easy, open catch-and-shoot three.
On the other end, three-pointer off the mark from Butterlow. Francis gets the bounce, and there's the first bucket of the game.
And that's a big deal right there. Tennessee prides themselves on controlling the glass, defending. So that's a good sign for Rutgers on that second chance point.
For both teams, their first power conference test. Gillespie lines it up, and Jacoby Gillespie knocks it down.
And Gillespie, as we know, transferred from Maryland. Tennessee native, coming back to play for the Vols. I think he's a great compliment to Ament. He played with the likes of Queen last year, understands do-it-all power forwards and small forwards.
Well, and for Gillespie, big shoes to fill, right? Zakai Ziegler, Tennessee legend, is done, and now it's Gillespie's show.
Yeah, well, you talk about key losses. Ziegler, Mishak, Lanier, as Akpara knocks down that three. We don't see Akpara take many threes. It's a good sign for the Volunteers offense this early.
Small sample size, but the big fella 3 of 5 from long range now in the year, and Tennessee opens up a 6-2 lead.
And I think the biggest question for Tennessee at this point in the year is they've played 5 games at Tennessee. As you get that offensive foul on Abole, that's Rick Barnes right there.
Yeah, back-to-back Elite Eights. We're going to talk about it, but there's so many great coaches in this event, and he's got the most wins at 841 of all the active D1 head coaches.
And more than the wins, Coach Barnes signing that lifetime deal is just the type of human he is. He is one of the best guys. He loves his team. He loves his young men, and it's more than just basketball. And you see that in the Kelvin Sampsons and the Bill Selfs of the world. It's an honor to be able to coach these young men.
And good to have those guys around in this new world of college hoops. There's a foul that will send it the other way. It's on Cade Phillips. And there's Steve Peichel on the other bench. That loss to Central Connecticut State, it hurt extra for Steve Peichel because that was on his birthday, his 58th birthday. So he was very angry last Friday. Knocked out of bounds. But for Steve Peichel's team, Candace, and you kind of hit on it, the question for them this year isn't on the defensive end. It's can they score the ball, and that'll be something to track here today. And
Francis and Grant are going to have to be the two that can score the ball. As you see Tennessee applying pressure with the full court press to Rutgers, they're going to have to figure out how to get into the lane. I think early against Central Connecticut, Rutgers settled for a lot of threes. They made them early. Well, there was a lid on the basket late, and you can't just pass around the perimeter. You got to get into the paint, draw some defenses, and get some catch and shoots.
This is one of those guys they need to score. Tariq Francis at 15 a game. Cutting inside. Grant had it stripped by Gillespie.
And Tennessee's defense holding opponents to 34% field goal percentage. Obviously, some naysayers can say they haven't played anybody, but I don't care who you're playing. You're holding your opponent to 34, you're going to win some games.
And they're holding Rutgers to 1 of 5 from the floor, make it 1 of 6. Another miss from Butterlow. Gillespie, preseason, second team All-SEC. Got it between the rings. Crossover, knocked free. Francis is a good defender. He's all over him.
And Rutgers can defend. They get out, they pressure, they make reversals tough. It's almost like they're playing a mirror image of what Tennessee likes to do. They love to get out in the fast break and capitalize off of those turnovers. And they're going to make it tough once they set their defense.
Well, that has always been Steve Pikiell's DNA. Before coming to Rutgers now in its 10th season in Piscataway, defense is the thing that makes the Rutgers engine go.
And as you see, Ware coming in early, got some time against Central Connecticut. The bench brought Rutgers back into that game with their energy and their effort.
And there's the guy that can fill it up, Dylan Grant, the sophomore from Canada, with the and one.
And Dylan Grant doing a great job putting the ball on the floor, getting to that right hand, attacking the foot speed of Carey, and getting the and one. Ament reached in on that.
Yeah. But Carey gets the first personal, as you said, guy who spent last year at Vanderbilt.
You know, there's times where you know that something is going to be on the film session the next day. I think that play might be on Rick Barnes' film session for freshman Nate Ament.
Into the front court and bumps. Berg gets knocked down by Dylan Grant. Careless first foul. But Tennessee, 3 turnovers their last 4 possessions, so a little wobbly here early for the Vols.
And if there's any criticism on Tennessee early, it has been the amount of time that they're turning the ball over. They average almost 15 turnovers per game, and a lot of that I do believe comes with the familiarity of others. You had a Zakai Ziegler, who is a steady Ed. He's been at the forefront of your offense for a very long time. Gillespie coming in trying to learn what exactly Rick Barnes expects.
Well, that's new age college basketball as Rutgers drops into his zone here. Carey out to Berg. He can fill it from deep. Off the mark.
And Rutgers doing a great job boxing out in that zone. It's really difficult to rebound.
Francis, step back. Does not get the bounce.
And it just seems like Rutgers getting good looks on the offensive end. They're just not dropping.
Here is Ament, quiet early, gives it up to Gillespie. Penetrates, somehow got it up to the rim. Eventually Rutgers carries it out of there. Buchanan, 8-10 transfer from George Washington, too strong.
And right there, I'd love Buchanan to just put his head down and get to the rim.
Steve Pikiell's trying to emphasize that with his guys. Don't settle, get to the rim, get fouled.
And Ament, let's see him be a little bit more aggressive. Gillespie's the only one that has gotten to the paint against this zone defense. They want them to settle as Gillespie shuts me up and knocks down the 3, but Tennessee has to figure out a way to penetrate this zone and get into the teeth of it so that they can continue to dominate in the paint like they've done early in the season.
A 3 for a 3, the answer from Grant. You're right, though, about the penetrating for Tennessee. All 9 points behind the arc so far. On the baseline, curls the pass route. Boy, Ament passed up a pretty good shot.
Ament can't pass that up within the offense because now they're going to take a desperation shot at the buzzer from...
Well, Gillespie came to play.
Once again. But Nate Ament has to take that corner 3. I don't care if you missed 15 before that. That's a good shot within the Tennessee offense.
But Jacoby Gillespie, the senior, the veteran, one of the leaders, is hot early as Akpara picks up the foul and sends us to our first media timeout.
Hernandez has been a great resource there. He also gave a lot of credit to Tennessee strength coach Garrett Maidenwald, who's kept the freshmen kind of locked in and accountable in the weight room, making sure all those extra calories, guys, are being put to good use.
Good use, yes. Body looks great. We know how talented he is, but he's passed up a couple of early looks.
Yeah, we want to see those muscles take some shots in the corner, especially when you're wide open. You're only 0 for 1 from the field. You got to be aggressive.
Top 5 recruit. Some believe best that Barnes has signed since Kevin Durant, as this one goes into the backcourt. And an early tie-up here out of that media timeout.
That was great hustle from Boswell. Boswell's back from injury. Played the first 2 games and has missed 3. Looks good. Right foot injury. but looks back and healthy, diving for the ball. Coach Barnes calls him the best defender on the Tennessee team, which is a tall task considering they've been one of the top 10 defenses since Rick Barnes has been there.
Yeah, didn't know if Boswell would play today, said he was available. Obviously, he is going to play on the floor right now. Late in the shot clock, here is Boswell fading away. Offensive board inside. Akpara with a follow.
And why not? Just toss it to yourself.
Just patting his stats down there, the big fella.
And that's the thing that Tennessee has really added this year is depth at the 4 position. You think of Akpara getting in foul trouble in last year's NCAA tournament. Now being able to have the depth of a carry, being able to have the depth, you know, to be able to bring in size when Estrella was out with his injury. So that is definitely a benefit of the front court for Tennessee.
That's the other name, J.P. Estrella. We're told he's available today, may not play. He's dealing with a knee injury. We'll see if they get him out there. That's going to be an offensive foul, a little push off from Jamichael Davis. And guess what? There is J.P. Estrella. A little backcourt pressure for the Vols.
I look for Francis to get some things going here as they need him to step up. As it looks like you got Akpara.
No, they got Amari Abram.
Amari Abram on the grab.
And that's 7 fouls on Tennessee, so bonus the rest of the way for Rutgers.
And that is a great sign. Now Rutgers has to do a great job of knocking down free throws. They shoot 69% on the year, but a way to get your offense going is to get easy baskets. And that's to get to the free throw line with 10 minutes and 37 seconds. So if you're Rutgers, you cannot settle for outside jump shots.
Freshman Harun Zerno. What a friendly bounce. TNT Sports coverage of the Players Era is presented by Sam's Club. Join Sam's Club today. Celebrate the season of yes and say yes to everything you need and want for the holidays. They missed that one. 1 of 2. By the way, you might notice on the bottom of your screen, Tennessee, the number next to their name went from 20 to 17. New poll released, and they climbed 3 spots. And Nate Ament climbs for his first bucket.
Ament doing a great job of slowing up, absorbing the contact, using that extra 20 pounds of muscle to finish through the contact. See, I like that for Rick Barnes. Taking Ament out, having a conversation, and then immediately comes back in and is aggressive on the offensive end.
Yeah, I think Rick Barnes said, hey, kid, you're out there to score. Go score the ball, and he did. Three from the wing. Zerno knocks it down. Boy, Rutgers needed that.
They needed that 3 up until that point. Now they're 50% from beyond the arc. Early ones did not go down.
Still falls by 8. Ament this time from distance. And Buttalo with a rebound. Lob attempt too tall. Grant can jump, but he needed a ladder to grab that.
And Ament right here doing a great job of slowing up, absorbing the contact. But what I loved is that he's going north and south. He's not going east and west. He's going to the hoop, and he's making you guard his length.
6'10", Rick Barnes has talked about how he can hang in the air, and you saw it there, letting other defenders fall and still able to finish it. He's not passing up the shots now, and that one drops.
And you're seeing a different mindset. 1, Gillespie knowing that he needs to get his guy going. And 2, Ament not hesitant to take those shots.
The lead is expanded to 11. Buttalo has it knocked loose. Picks it up, fires. Foul on the rebound. That's going to go against Nate Ament, his first.
And right here, if you're Rutgers, offensively, Tennessee's defense is built to try to make you go one-on-one. They want to take you out of the continuity of their offense. They want to make ball reversals difficult. If you're Rutgers, you got to take care of the ball and you got to try to get into the paint and get to the free throw line.
Yeah, because Rutgers, a team that doesn't shoot it well from outside. You're right. They've got to find a way to get points at the stripe, and they'll get there right now with Zerno. You do notice, Candace, just looking out on the floor, the length of Tennessee. It's much different than the Scarlet Knights.
Yes, the length at every position. We talk about Nate Ament being 6'10", playing the small forward for Tennessee. You add that with Akpara's size, Phillips, what you're bringing in off the bench with Carey, Estrella. I mean, Tennessee's front court at some points in the season last year, it was difficult when players got in foul trouble. This year, they're able to come at you in waves.
Gillespie wants 3 more. That shot is so pretty.
And that flare action has proved to be successful in this Tennessee offense. Gillespie taking a page out of Ament's book. That was the play down. He called his own number the last time.
Jacoby Gillespie, 4 of 6 from range. He's got 17. Buchanan kicks it up top. Almost turned it over. Buchanan this time to the rim.
And Buchanan doing a great job. Obviously, the defense was stretched out to half court with that pass, able to attack the closeout and get to the paint.
Here's Gillespie. It's Jacoby Gillespie's world, and we're all just living in it, folks. He's got 19, and we haven't even played 13 minutes.
Jacoby Gillespie is putting on a show of getting to the rack or knocking it down from beyond the arc.
He is playing like a guy possessed right now as Abram picks up his 2nd foul. Timeout. How about more Gillespie highlights?
Well, Gillespie doing a great job going up 2 on Rutgers by himself. Knocks down his 4th 3. And then
8 rematch between Tennessee and Houston. Steve Pikiell's crew, they're just trying to find their footing. They only have 2 assists, 5 of 14 from the field. They do have Zerno at the line.
And Zerno missing 2 free throws. And if you're Rutgers, you got to capitalize on every trip to the free throw line.
How do they stop this guy? Gives it up, Ament. Penetrates on Buchanan. Buchanan all over him.
And Buchanan doing a great job of standing him up. That's the one thing that taller players that are dribbling don't like.
Phillips now back inside. Akpara and the foul. That length of Tennessee just a little too much right now for the Scarlet Knights.
And Akpara hanging out in that dunker spot. Phillips with the hustle play, and then again right here. A nice rip, strong move, no layups. I think Phillips liked it too.
All the Vols celebrating. Akpara's 2nd year at Tennessee after 2 at Ohio State. Completes a 3-point play, and now Rutgers in a big hole here, down 15.
In Rutgers,
players like Zerno, he's playing in Bosnia, realizes, well, now with NIL, I can make more money going to the States, and so he comes over here. It's a different era. Ament double team. Every time he catches it, they're on him. Down the lane. He got pushed.
And early on, seeing Rutgers' physicality with Ament. They're trapping screens. Abole doing a great job of not fouling as he has those 2 early fouls. Again, gets into the paint and is able to get to the free throw line, but Rutgers did everything but finish that play. That was a great defensive effort if you're Coach Pikiell.
Bill talked about the muscle that he has put on since coming to Tennessee. But I will say this, sixth game of the year, Ament hasn't faced a team as physical as Rutgers, so this is a kind of a first for him.
And Ament, the thing about freshmen when they come in, usually there's a difficulty with getting to the free throw line. Ament naturally gets to his spots and is able to capitalize at the free throw line as he gets that rebound.
Now another opportunity for the Vols. Ament in rhythm, buries it. Way to foul away from the ball. I think they're going to count the basket, say that Ament had already released it.
Previous players under review.
Now they're going to go and look at it. They got the foul on Dwayne Brown of Tennessee. We'll see if they count the basket. That's 2 on Brown.
And Dwayne Brown trying to get early position for the offensive rebound. I don't think there's anything extra there other than just a loose ball foul. Count the bucket and going the other way.
This is not a challenge. Remember, new to college basketball this year, coaches have challenges. This is an official review. DJ Carsonson, lead official there, talking to Rick Barnes. And yes, it is a common foul, and I'm with you, Candace. I think that's the right call.
But because Rutgers is in the bonus, it will send Butterlow to the line for some easy twos. During that possession, Butterlow was battling Tennessee's bigs with everything he had. It was good to see him be rewarded with these free throws.
That 3 does count by Ament, so a 16-point lead.
Back for the Vols, JP Estrella.
Another kid from overseas, and Dennis Butterlow, he's from Romania. Played in Italy the last 4 years before coming to Rutgers.
And there is an adjustment. The international game is played differently. And the only similarity I would say is in terms of the physicality, the ability for the defense to be physical and, you know, dictate direction. It's a little similar in college, but adjusting to international game and coming here has got to be a challenge, especially this early in the season.
Ament downtown, he hit another, he's starting to heat up.
And Ament not shy. I think that's why all of us were saying, don't pass up open shots, young fella.
He's got 12 points, all of them coming after Rick Barnes gave him a stern talking to about being more aggressive. And here we go. Ament rises and lays it in.
And right there, doing a great job getting out on the break. He's guarding the 3 position too. We see a lot of players that play the 3 but guard the 4. No, Rick Barnes has him out on the perimeter defending away from the basket.
Between Gillespie and Ament, they've got 33. Buchanan, and they're going to get a foul on JP Estrella.
And at the beginning of the game, Nate Ament passed up an open look in the corner, went out, had a nice little talking to with Coach Barnes, and he has been aggressive and been rewarded since. Played well on the defensive end, got that steal. He's doing a little bit of everything now.
Well, again, many believe that he is the most talented Rick Barnes recruit since some guy named Durant back in '06. And you think of all the players Rick Barnes has coached, that's really saying something.
And what's SB knocking down that free throw? They've done a great job of playing off one another as well. Ament took that little break, went out, came back, and has been aggressive ever since.
A luxury to have a guy like Gillespie who gets you 6 assists a game, but can also do what he's doing now. He's got 21 points.
Well, that's the power of understanding. You got to have a plan when you go to the paint. There's a lot of guards that go in there and have no idea. Gillespie goes in there under control. You talk about at the next level being able to play at your own pace. Well, Gillespie has mastered that.
Inside of 3 minutes. Berg wraps around a pass, but a little too much wide of Estrella.
And Berg points up at the basket. He should have given it to Estrella up towards the rim as Boswell comes back in on the defensive end.
Yeah, Estrella looked at him like, hey, I'm 6'11", just go up top with it.
That was always my favorite thing as a post player. It's like, there's a lot more space up in the air.
And I can out-jump these people around me.
Token pressure for Tennessee being able to extend their defense, deny the passing lane has been the story. Rutgers staying within striking distance because of the free throw line.
Yeah, the fouls, that's about the only thing that has gone the way of the Scarlet Knights. Every possession's like a root canal on this end. Buchanan.
Well, the inability to penetrate the defense, I mean, you got to give credit to not only the size in the front court, but also as Gillespie's just having his way. He is picking whatever he wants to do down the court. Started off with a little dose of beyond the arc and is now tearing the Rutgers defense apart with penetration.
I saw him a lot last year at Maryland. He had some tremendous games. I've never seen him this good. He is dominant right now. Francis splits the defenders, but it was disrupted by Akpara. There's a push inside, and that's going to be against Rutgers. Let's go over to the mill.
Hey guys, valuing each possession is so critical, like you're talking about, and that was a hard lesson for Rutgers on Friday in their loss to Central Connecticut State. I talked to Tariq Francis, and he told me, listen, we let a couple possessions get away, and then all of a sudden there was a snowball effect. They gave up 13 offensive rebounds. They also allowed 10 turnovers, and those same numbers are starting to pile up here in this game. They need to clean that up if they want to get back in this one in the second half.
Yeah, that's exactly what Steve Pikiell said in the press conference after that game. Those are areas that might continue to haunt Rutgers this season.
Well, the biggest thing for Rutgers is they've established themselves as an amazing defensive team. They're holding their opponents thus far to 64 points per game, but you're not going to pitch a shutout. You got to find ways to score on the offensive end, and when you're not turning your opponent over and getting fast break points, what does your half-court offense look like? We talked about before the game. 4 returning players, only 4 returning players. So you're dealing, like others in college basketball, figuring things out on the offensive end.
Well, last year they had those 2 talented players, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, both top 5 picks. They don't have that offense anymore. Buchanan, though, provides a little surge. Count the bucket.
And Buchanan calling his own number, going one-on-one. And this is the way that Rutgers is going to have to score. Tennessee's going to take you out of your continuity. Buchanan doing a good job attacking the foot speed of Estrella. Estrella felt like he went straight up. He leaned a little bit into the contact. See if Buchanan can get Rutgers feeling a little bit better going into halftime.
They have been able to pick up 2 fouls on Estrella, on Brown, and on Carey. So the front court for Tennessee in a bit of foul trouble, but they're still up big.
Well, basketball is a game of runs, and sometimes it is about feeling good going into halftime. And so if Rutgers can defend on this end and get a couple buckets, they could get themselves back into this game.
Ament trying to get to his spot, pulling up. Wow, that's next level right there from Nate Ament.
And that's against a much smaller guard. Ament putting it on the floor. Smaller guards, they want to stand you up. They want to make things difficult. They want to be physical. Davis reaching in. Ament just gets to his spot and rises up. That's the thing. That's the beauty of someone that has the size that Ament has. The wingspan 7'1", the reach 9 foot, that if you just are calm, cool, and collected and play at your pace, you can get what you want.
Yeah, Davis is 6'2". That was a tough matchup. Ament now has 17. Tennessee has 52 here in the first half. Falling down, Butterlow. Taken away. Estrella, hello!
And I'm no doctor, But I think that knee looks pretty good. Estrella rising for the jam on that play, that fast break. I was talking about Rutgers trying to feel good going into halftime. The Volunteers must have heard me because they have gone on an absolute run. Done so on the defensive end and sparked by Ament. Individual play. You talk about right here, Boswell, you know if there's a loose ball, he's going to get it. Estrella doing a great job of trailing the play. Hey, reward the big. I'm all about rewarding the big, Brandon.
Hey, there's medicine in that orange pill, Candace. So if you got an injury, Estrella, sometimes getting out there, it's a nice cure. And, yeah, he rose. That was a nice slam.
There's any sign right there. You lay that up if you're a little hampered. That was a throwdown. I love the energy that Tennessee is playing with right now, sparked by their defense. They've stopped committing fouls away from the basket, and they know that if they can set their defense against Rutgers, they're gonna have trouble scoring.
Those guys just a stone's throw from us. Halftime will be presented by Modelo. Adam, Jalen, Jamal, and C-Web up there ready to take over in less than a minute.
Man, we got college basketball royalty in Lefko up there.
Yeah.
I hope he can hear me.
Well, now that's how I feel too, Candace. Sitting next to you, Lefko and I, we can commiserate a little bit. You know,
Lefko, of course, is pulling for Syracuse, went there for college, so see what he has to say about the Orangemen.
We'll see them later today. 5 seconds on the shot clock.
And this right here is the type of defense that you can expect from a Rick Barnes Tennessee Volunteers team coming out of a timeout. If you're a coach out there and you want those two combine for 40 of Tennessee's 54 points, it's been a heavy dose from the outside, a little bit from the inside, a little bit from the free throw line.
And on defense, too. Inside of 5 seconds, it's Nate Ament time. Tap back at the buzzer to put the Vols up 26.
And welcome back, JP Estrella. Has had some amazing hustle plays to end this play. Ament, tough banker. Estrella, I got your back. Rutgers spread out, can't rebound. And right here, Tennessee's got to feel good, going up 56-30 defense.
Well, they're excited about playing. And Rick Barnes' team is going to be physical, but they're going to do a really good job of not fouling it. And that'd be the one thing I think Tennessee would try to improve on here in the second half.
Well, it was that Gillespie performance, obviously, but Nate Ament started quiet. Rick Barnes called him over, had a chat with him, then he started to heat up, and he has 17. Driving inside, are they going to count that bucket? The officials consulting on whether they're going to give that for Dylan Grant. And they will.
And I can only imagine what the conversations at halftime had to be with Coach Peichel and his team. They understand the value of getting in.
You go right to Dylan Grant. You go right inside. He takes it right through the contact and gets to the foul line. He was a sort of a forgotten freshman last year for Rutgers. Had a solid year. And he's a guy I know that they're really counting on.
Unable to complete the three-point play. Let's go over and check back in with Nabil.
Yeah, guys, Candace, you were asking the question about Coach Peichel and what he said at the half. Well, I did talk to him, and he said he really reiterated the rebounding. He said they've been talking about it for days now, and they're getting hurt in that department. The second shots, extra possessions, really killing them. Asked him about Gillespie and Ament. How do you possibly just slow them down a little bit? He said, listen, they're a real tough guard, obviously, but he wants his guys to get the ball out of their hands and then not let them get it back.
It's just such a tough task for anybody. Late shot clock. Here's Gillespie again. And Rutgers rebound to Obolde.
And to Nabil's point, Tennessee is a team, doesn't leave many rebounds out there. Plus 19 rebound margin on the year. Today doing a great job with 11 in that first half.
Obolde cannot get it. You're seeing it right there again. And unfortunately, Nate Ament for Tennessee traveled, but Coach, the length of the Vols, it just jumps right off the page when you look out there, Adam.
Well, when Nate Ament's got a 7'1" wingspan, and he's the third biggest guy out there on the floor for Tennessee, that tells you how challenging it's going to be to finish at the rim. you talk about pace. Tennessee only took 32 shots in that first half, but Kansas City just so efficient in every possession.
Super efficient. Obviously, the game was slowed down a bit in the middle because Rutgers getting in the bonus early in that second half, but Tennessee doing a good job of, when they score, being able to set their defense, and nobody in the country wants to play against a half-court Rick Barnes defense.
No, and it's going to take a while every possession because Tennessee's not going to force turnovers. They're not going to gamble too much. They're just going to be super solid. But that's what they've got to improve on right there, Brandon. They've got to cut down those turnovers. Ament just trying to do too much.
And that's something Rick Barnes talked about. Candace, you mentioned it earlier. They've so far coming into this tournament, almost 15 turnovers a game, and that was against lesser opponents. Now you're starting to face some of the big boys. We'll see how they handle it.
And again, without Zakai Ziegler, probably having to walk through sets and things that you haven't had to before because you've had a point guard that has had a lot of time, a lot of experience under Rick Barnes' offense, also acclimating a top 5 recruit in Nate Ament. So it's going to take time for this Tennessee offense, but you got to take care of the basketball and have more possessions.
Well, Rutgers does look better so far this half. There's Dylan Grant with 2 more.
Look at Coach Peichel over at the bench. I mean, he's willing these guys to stay in this basketball game.
When you're this far down, how do you coach if you're Steve Peichel right now, right? You got to do it in segments, Coach.
One possession at a time, take 4 minutes. Win this 4 minutes. Like, come out right now. Don't worry about the score of the game. We got before the first TV timeout. Let's see if we can win this. I think right now, they're playing them even, right? Maybe they've even slightly got the lead in the second half.
Yeah, they've scored all 4 in the second half so far of the Scarlet Knights.
And the thing at this juncture in the season, you understand basketball is a game of runs, but basketball is also a game of feeling. And feeling good going into playing a big matchup as Gillespie gets back to what he was doing in the first half is huge. They're going to face a physical Houston team tomorrow. They're going to face a team that's big, strong, defensive pressure. So if you're turning the ball over off of mistakes, you got to be careful with tomorrow because that will only ignite the Houston offense.
You know what I'm curious to see tomorrow, Candace, is who beside Gillespie in the backcourt is going to step up. Because right now, he is the key to this team. He is doing everything for the Vols. Who's going to be that other guard to step in? Because it's always been, it was Meshack and it was Ziegler. It was, oh, this beautiful OB here. Curl, and a great finish with the offhand.
The thing I've been most impressed with Gillespie this far has been he's playing at his own pace. He's not putting his head down and figuring it out. He has a plan when he goes into the lane.
And he got into the lane there, and he found Nate Ament.
I mean, you just can't teach high IQ basketball. Gillespie's played a lot of basketball, but to have a point guard that's able to get others involved and also call his own number has been what has been on display today.
It is. I love his pace. And Candace, how excited is he to come back home? He starts at Belmont, a high mid-major program, gets his first high major shot at Maryland, does great, and then the Tennessee Vols come calling. He used to come to my basketball camp way back in the day. He was a little undersized, but you could tell he was a winner.
And right here on this play, I love Rick Barnes' offense. It's a lot of pin downs, a lot of curls, and a lot of flare actions. Nate Ament doing a good job playing off of that dribble drive. Gillespie under control, playing at home for the Volunteers. Coach, there's nothing like going home and playing basketball in front of your family and friends. And will I say winning a championship in front of your family and friends, there's nothing like that.
Well, and you say he went to your camps. He grew up a huge Vols fan, so for him, this is a thrill.
Yeah, this is what he's been working his whole life for. He's taken, full advantage of the moment. Candace, you talk about throwing the ball to Matt and the shot clock's running. He was dating one of my guys, and she was talking to 2 or 3 others at the same time.
You can't air her dirty laundry like that, Coach. Come on now.
Hey, Candace, you remember there were a couple times I would come to you and say, honey, please don't break up with him tonight, right? You remember this? I literally did. And she would be like, okay, we had that relationship. Candace was mature beyond her years.
I was in your office and talking to you, and I think that's the thing that I love about the University of Tennessee is the relationships and, the stuff that will stay in 2004 to 2008.
Well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas,
Yes.
so we'll leave those stories right here at the table. Mark in the corner, and Ament high for the rebound.
And if you're Tennessee, you got to be careful. You still have to have your level of play, your expectation on the offensive end. You've executed well through Gillespie and through Ament in the first half.
Golly, Gillespie, a new career high 28 points. Coach, I remember watching him at Belmont last year at Maryland, but this is an even better version of him here today.
Yeah, it really is. He is running the show. There was a fast break. He could have easily taken that shot. He pulled it out. He got him organized, and they weren't guarding him. And they're telling me he just flat out does not miss in practice. This is a real breakout game for him. Tomorrow against Houston, you're going to see a little different defense than he's seeing tonight against Rutgers.
And I got to believe, obviously, Houston has their eyes on Syracuse, but they're watching, and their guards who can defend freshman phenom Flemings, as we saw him step up against Auburn the other day in that matchup. But they're going to have their work cut out for him, but Gillespie's going to have to learn to play with size and physicality, and they're not going to let him walk into threes. Wins. You got to move on to the next opponent. The next opponent is going to bring different challenges and a different game plan.
Zerno off balance. Boswell up ahead. Knocked out of bounds by Davis. It'll stay with Tennessee.
And I'm a little bit surprised. I understand you can't let a career night go to waste, but Gillespie, career day. I guess we're still at 11.
Career morning. Yeah.
Gillespie back out there, up nearly 30, 31, running this Tennessee offense.
Turnover here. And Davis finishes. It's a good point, Candace, and you and Coach Pearl were talking about it earlier in the half. When will Coach Barnes give Gillespie a rest? I thought he may do it by now, but still on the floor.
And Nate Ament.
Yes. And Gillespie, air ball. Hey, just give him the assist.
Just like you planned, just like you drew it up.
Cade Phillips was Johnny on the spot to dunk it home.
And Phillips and Okpara, their length has guarded the rim so well against this Rutgers team. You talk about Rutgers struggling to get into the paint. Just there now.
Now they do it. Buchanan.
Now Buchanan takes advantage of a mismatch against Gillespie. But Rutgers has really struggled to operate in the paint with only 18 paint points to Tennessee's 36 today.
He thought about it. Now he'll penetrate, try to get to the rim, and he's going to get to the line. Davis with his third personal foul.
And it just seems that Gillespie is not rattled. Pressure doesn't bother him. He's able to play at his pace and make you choose wrong, whether it's stepping out, being confident and knocking down the three, or putting the ball on the floor and being patient with getting to the rack.
He already has a career-high 31. Misses the first. TNT Sports coverage of the Players Area is presented by Lilly, a medicine company. And also by Geico. It feels good to Geico.
And as a player there, Brandon, you're looking up saying 33 sounds so much better than 32.
You won every one, right?
As Gillespie's coming out, I think that's it for today. But as a player, you're in a game like this, a career high, you want more.
Well, take a bow, Jacoby Gillespie. 34 points, or 32 points rather, in 29 minutes here today. Davis attacks and bumped by Boswell with 5:11 remaining.
Going at it. Davis getting to the paint. Boswell preventing him from getting to the paint. On that defensive sequence, you had Boswell in help, getting back out, closing out, taking away the three, but Davis not settling and still getting into the paint.
Something that Steve Peichel felt Rutgers didn't do last year was attack the rack as well. Settle for a three there. Good look, but off the mark. But it's such a different team from a year ago when they had those 2 top 5 picks in Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. But Steve Pikiell said those guys were great. We loved having them. They were one and done, but want to get back to our defensive DNA. But clearly they've got some answers on the offensive side they've got to figure out. Buchanan, yes.
Buchanan Jr. Timeout, Rutgers.
And Rutgers.
The pipeline of freshmen through the pipeline of transfers, which is what we're seeing in NCAA basketball. And the ability to adjust throughout the season is what's crucial. You want to figure out all the kinks before conference play, and you want to be feeling good about your defense and your offense. Well, one thing's checked off the box. Rutgers can defend. They've proven that in the way that they make things tough for the opponents, but they've got to figure out where they can go when they need a bucket on the offensive end.
Because all their scores, Dylan Grant at the top of the list, those guys for the most part have been held in check here today by Tennessee. Freshman star Nate Ament still on the floor. Cannot follow up his miss.
And I think that's the next evolution of Nate's game. He's got to be able to get to his spot, rise above contact, and take good shots on that possession.
Yeah, we've seen him hit some threes. He had a couple in the mid-range, but you want to see Nate Ament get inside more?
Well, Nate's going to play against defenders that are smaller and stronger than him at